Born with a body that grows too old too fast.
I don't want Ori to lose his sense of happiness.
The tragedy of aging disease. She lost her speech, then woke up with another woman's voice.
You sound exactly like you're from England.
The bizarre mystery of foreign accent syndrome.
I'm a Hoosier. I was born in Indiana.
A shocking condition
I've seen legs that are upwards of 400 pounds.
that can strike you at any time, and the one place in America that has an answer. And a split second between life and death. The boy who was beheaded and lived.
His head could easily be lifted right up, off, or forward, or back.
The most incredible species on the planet is human. An 8-year-old boy in an 80-year-old's body.
He doesn't like kids staring at him. I don't like people staring at him.
A disease so rare, there are just 40 known cases in the world.
My mom and I call it cute, smart, and special.
These are the legacies of Progeria, a body that grows too old, too fast. Can medical science devise a cure?
This is spectacular that we know this much.
Before it's too late. 8 years old, a little more than 3 feet tall, and with a body that ages 7 times faster than normal. Ori is old before his time.
Next one.
For first-time mom Heather, Ori's arrival into the world began a medical roller coaster ride.
When Ori was born, he had bumps on the front of his legs. Right away, the doctors noticed that. They didn't know what they were, so they weren't concerned about it. They had mentioned, well, we don't know what the bumps are, but we're not worried about it.
Within weeks, newborn Ori could no longer keep his food down. He was developing too slowly. Heather and her parents suspected something was very wrong with her baby.
So when Ori was 4 months old, we went to this doctor, and he looked at Ori for about 20 minutes and said he has Progeria and sent us home. We had never heard of Progeria.
What Heather discovered shocked her. Ori has a disease with no cure. He will never grow taller than 4 feet, and tragically, he has little chance of living beyond his teens. Progeria is the cruel legacy of a genetic mutation. Medical researcher Dr. Leslie Gordon is on a crusade to discover Progeria's cause.
One single letter in the billions of letters that make up our DNA has changed. And this single letter change creates the entire disease process known as progeria.
Already, Dr. Gordon knows Progeria's single bad gene creates a destructive protein. That protein ravages the nucleus of body cells, and cell death follows soon after. With typical progeria, children like Ori develop the vein and artery diseases of the elderly while they're still infants.
All of these children die of premature cardiovascular disease, heart attacks and strokes, at an average age of 13 years.
Ori has already had several minor strokes. His first came at 4 years of age.
He was walking along, said he felt sleepy, his hand felt sleepy, and then his leg, and then he just collapsed on the floor. The doctor told us that the vein in the side of his neck, his basilar artery, had clogged up, so his blood was having a hard time reaching his brain, so that's why it was causing these symptoms.
Progeria children lose their hair, their teeth become misshapen, and their skin tightens so much it restricts their breathing. But medical science is on the brink of some inspired breakthroughs. And there's the amazing story of a Progeria prom queen who's already reached the ripe old age of 20. From this moment until you hear the end of this sentence, the world will witness 15 new lives being born. The miracle of human birth happens 250,000 times a day. But sometimes the most perilous time of life is at the very start. From the files of Medical Incredible, history's most extraordinary babies. This is an ectopic pregnancy. The baby is growing outside the mother's womb. Usually the fetus dies early in the pregnancy, but imagine an ectopic pregnancy that involves triplets. That's what Jane Ingram was faced with. 3 babies, 1 developing outside her womb.
I don't think to the day I die, really, I'll get over the shock of it.
The 3rd fertilized egg had implanted itself in Jane's fallopian tube. Jane's triplets were delivered by emergency cesarean. They were 10 weeks premature, and all 3 survived, including this little boy who'd grown outside his mother's womb. This stone-like fetus also resulted from an ectopic pregnancy. Conceived in the 1800s, it remained inside the mother's abdomen for several years. 1 in every 50 to 80,000 pregnancies results in conjoined twins. There are 20 sets born in the United States each year, but only 4 to 5 survive beyond infancy. And at 43 years of age, Reba and Laurie Chappelle are the world's oldest living female conjoined twins. They're craniopagus twins, joined at the head. They also share 30% of their brain.
I'm not a quiet person. I'm very out there. I am more like the introvert.
History has recorded just 2 sets of conjoined triplets. They survived only a few hours. Parasitic twins are a once-in-a-million occurrence. One twin literally feeds off the other. Indian-born Lalu shared a bloodstream with his twin. But Lalu's other half had no brain or functioning organs.
And what he had was a couple of legs essentially sticking out of the side of him.
Sometimes the parasitic twin develops inside its sibling. It's called fetus in fetu.
But it is indeed a fetus. A fetus in fetu is a rare congenital anomaly where a twin becomes entrapped or encapsulated within the abdomen of the host twin.
It's only happened 76 times in 200 years, and it happened to the Kleinmans.
When we saw the photos of Waylon's fetus, it was amazing just how human-like it looked compared to others.
Waylon's fetal twin grew inside him for 18 weeks, while Waylon grew inside his mother's womb. Surgeons removed the fetus in fetu 2 days after Waylon was born. There are just a handful of known cases in the world, but when a child is born with a genetic disorder known as progeria, the results are tragic. Ori shows all the signs of being old before his time: shrunken frame, baldness, misshapen teeth. His internal organs are wearing out fast, and he's already had 4 strokes.
The doctor told us that the vein in the side of his neck, his basilar artery, had clogged up.
This condition strikes 1 in 8 million births, but it's almost always distinctive.
Another classic sign of progeria is extreme lack of body fat, a look around their faces and their bodies that's very characteristic. Their nose becomes what's called beaked. You can see their veins throughout their head and their arms and other spots too.
Most progeria victims die at about age 13. And then there are those who defy the odds. Courtney Archiaja also has progeria. One of just 40 known victims worldwide, at birth, Courtney weighed little more than 3 pounds.
They weren't sure what was wrong, and she didn't look right. They tested her out. They tested her out for over a year is what they did.
They found that she had a rare strain of progeria. But incredibly, Courtney had been spared some of the disease's more devastating traits. For one thing, she has hair, lots of it. And at just 3 feet 11 inches tall, Courtney has made it to the grand old age of 20.
I grow slow and I age fast. My mom and I call it cute, smart, and special.
So you're working hard out there, girl.
Early in Courtney's life, the family made a crucial decision about the way they would treat her.
We said we're going to live our lives as normal as possible. She is going to be the most normal kid.
My body is older than other people, like 20-year-old or like taller and stuff, so I'm just different and I just live life to its fullest.
That's because you're a big 6th grader.
For Courtney, life was to become fuller than she or her family could ever have dreamed. In 2004, at 19 years of age, Courtney attended her first high school prom. Her friend Adrian asked to be her date.
She had picked that pink dress out, you know, just nights before.
For the Archiaja family, prom night became a celebration of her survival against the odds.
The ASB lady came behind me and said, "Get your camera ready."
And now for the prom queen,
Courtney Archiaja was crowned 2004 Bonita Vista High prom queen.
It was an unbelievable experience, and I tell you, that school has a very big heart.
It was, very exciting for our family, and we were happy for Courtney that she did win, and it was just a great time we'll never ever forget.
after I won, I cried, and one of my teachers said, "It's okay, don't cry, cause you should be happy." I was too, but I didn't know I was gonna win. It was tears of joy.
Courtney might inhabit a body that's accelerating towards premature old age. But she's been dealt one lucky break.
Courtney has a syndrome, a disease that has some overlaps with progeria, but probably will not develop the kind of heart disease that these children have. And so her lifespan could be very, very long.
There may yet be hope for Courtney and Ori and all progeria sufferers.
We recently found the gene that causes progeria. It was a very exciting time for the Progeria Research Foundation and for scientists throughout the world. This is spectacular that we know this much, but there's a lot more work to be done. And how do we get at that and treat these children is a huge leap. And that's the race for a cure.
Okay. Not let them on me.
No, just by yourself. I'll catch you at the bottom.
In 8-year-old Ari's case, the race for a cure may be a race against time.
It's been this past year that he's asked me, why don't I have hair? And why am I so small? And I want to get bigger, but I'm not growing. Why is that, Mommy?
Okay.
The reality is that Ari's progeria-ravaged body is already well past middle age.
I don't want Ori to lose his sense of happiness. He can be crabby sometimes, but he's such a happy boy, and he's so full of life and joy that I don't want to look at him and see that he feels sad.
There is no cure for progeria today. However, with the Progeria gene finding, I believe there is hope, much more hope than before, that with a lot of work and a lot of scientists and physicians thinking about these children, we can develop a treatment and a cure for them.
Remember our party saying? We had one great saying. Life might not be the party we always thought it was going to be, but while we're here, we might as well dance.
Tiffany Roberts-Noel is a medical mystery.
There'll be a champagne press preview from 6 to 7.
Indiana born and bred, Tiffany had a successful career as a Ford model.
We've got a great event coming up that JR...
5 years ago, she was making a start as a radio announcer. But one day, she woke up sounding like this.
They looked at me like I was crazy, like I had lost my marbles or something.
Inexplicably, Tiffany's voice had changed. She was suddenly afflicted with an English accent.
I got extremely weary and frustrated of people constantly, over the 5 years, asking me where I was from in England. Hello, Donna. Yes,
This isn't an act. Tiffany has never been to England. She has no English relatives.
What do you think?
Tiffany's voice change was the result of a debilitating stroke.
I was hospitalized, of course, because I had paralysis on the right side, and I lost my ability to speak for a while. I sounded like a very odd Forrest Gump.
When her speech returned, she went from sounding like this
They've been traveling from Fort Myers to Orlando to Tampa
to this.
I had to become one believable human being.
Gone was Tiffany's Indiana lilt. Instead, she spoke like a true Londoner. Victims of stroke will often be left with slurred speech. But even Tiffany's neurologist couldn't explain a condition as bizarre as this.
He says, why are you faking that Brit dialect? He knew me from before. And I said, I'm not faking any dialect. Well, why are you speaking that way? I said, well, you're the doctor. Why am I speaking this way?
Tiffany feared she was losing her mind. Friendships fractured as people doubted her.
When I heard her speak with the new voice, I didn't recognize her.
Donna Schlemmer was one friend who stuck by Tiffany as she searched for clues to her mysterious affliction.
She went into depression. She stayed in her house. She would go only to the grocery if necessary.
After 4 reclusive years, Tiffany had a breakthrough. A friend emailed her an article about a condition called foreign accent syndrome. The symptoms matched hers completely.
I actually sat at my computer for almost 2 hours sobbing. Because finally, I was being validated as a sane human being by reading that article.
The article gave Tiffany enough information to find Dr. Jack Riles at the University of Central Florida.
Foreign accent syndrome is a perceived foreign accent, not due to the person speaking a foreign language or having a foreign family. That is a result of a neurological insult. In America, we say she's putting on a party dress. What do they say in English?
I say she's putting on a pretty frock.
Dr. Riles put Tiffany through a series of tests to determine if she was a genuine foreign accent syndrome patient. The results were positive.
I say I'm going to the pharmacy to get my script.
Tiffany hadn't magically acquired an English accent overnight, but the stroke had damaged the left hemisphere of her brain in an area that controls language. The network of fibers connecting the cortical structures of her brain had been severed. In relearning to speak, Tiffany's voice distorted into something that resembled a foreign accent.
I say that I left my automobile in the garage.
in her process of rehabilitation and learning to speak again, has kind of relearned speech habits with a tenser vocal tract posture, and that explains, I believe, part of the perceived accent as sounding English.
You wish to know all about my grandfather? Well, he is nearly 93 years old. Giving those, after 2 hours of testing, he said, you have foreign accent syndrome. So I felt vindicated for sure.
Foreign accent syndrome remains a medical mystery. Only 20 cases have been authenticated since 1919. Experts are still divided about what causes it. Is it brain damage that changes the use of speech muscles? Or does a trauma, like a stroke, uncover suppressed speech patterns, accents that our brains have heard but don't use? But for Tiffany, just being able to put a name to her extraordinary condition has restored her confidence.
You know, I can't make up my mind what I would really like to have. What would you like to have?
She's become more relaxed. I can see happiness again. She's going to more places now, and we have fun. We laugh.
Now I live life just for the second that I'm in, and I enjoy every second. Will I get it back? I don't know. Stay tuned. We'll find out.
Plumbing the depths of the inner human is harder than it looks. For years, we've been able to see into the human body, but the view is limited to bones and large organs. But unlikely as it seems, circus feats have inspired cutting-edge medical technology.
A great feat. It was led by some of the important sword swallowers in the world, but they developed the premise by which you could take a rigid instrument and drive it down the esophagus.
First came the endoscope, a long, flexible tube that gives a clear view all the way to the stomach. But the endoscope can't go any further. To reach into the depths of the lower intestine and beyond, enter the camera pill. Small and smooth, it can see soft tissue damage, even bleeding, that no X-ray could ever detect. The journey into the unknown starts here.
I'm going to start attaching the leads now, okay?
Receivers are placed at strategic points on the body.
Okay. And you may close your shirt now.
The camera pill will transmit an astonishing 50,000 images in 8 hours.
There's a light in it that's lighting up the tunnel, if you will.
Okay, you could take out the pill.
Our guinea pig is medical incredible producer Pat McInerney.
Under your tongue.
While Pat goes about his daily activities, the camera pill beams its headlight into the pit of his stomach. It explores the workings of Pat's intestinal tract, and it records every event in glorious Technicolor.
In that little pill camera, as it's sitting in your stomach and trying to find its way out into the small intestine. The stomach may or may not be emptying it. Sometimes things just sit in the stomach for hours, but then the stomach decides it pushes it forward, and it pops through, and it comes out of the stomach and into the small intestine.
A little pad thai, and it's on its way.
One of the very important aspects of this technique is to allow us to find bleeding sites in the small intestine. We had no way to really find them like this before.
The camera pill can also detect Crohn's disease, a chronic intestinal inflammation. It can even identify pre-cancerous polyps.
There are times when it's actually a life-saving procedure.
And the future for gut exploration is even more exciting. One day, camera pills may come equipped with laser cutters. Intestinal bleeding sites could be cauterized instantly.
You turn around and say, well, that looks like a funny-looking polyp. Let's take a little closer look at that. You'd look at the microscopic appearance, you'd say, that's a precancerous thing. I'm going to destroy that sucker right now. You'd drop the thing down and you'd have a laser beam go out and shoot it and be gone.
Best of all, the camera pill leaves no damage and disappears without a trace. Once the battery runs out, the camera continues through the system to the light at the end of the tunnel. Grotesque limbs.
I've seen legs that are upwards of 400 pounds.
And disfigured bodies.
You know, if it progresses any further, you could lose your leg.
It could happen to anyone.
It is astonishing to see.
And it could strike at any time. Michael Gribben was like any of the 55 million Americans who face a daily challenge of keeping their weight down. He needed to make changes, diet and exercise. It was under control. Then a simple spider bite triggered a potentially deadly chain reaction. Michael's legs swelled up, alarmingly.
Probably tripled or quadrupled in size.
Yet the spider was not poisonous. Michael was mystified.
Within the next year, since I had had a spider bite, my leg just progressed, and the rest of the leg kind of followed suit and just kind of kept getting bigger and bigger.
That year, his left leg grew to a mammoth 250 pounds.
I realized that the rest of me wasn't getting bigger. I've always been a big guy, but something wasn't right.
The cause of Michael's nightmare wasn't the spider at all. It was a condition that can strike anyone, called lymphedema.
Lymphedema can be astonishingly severe. I've seen legs that are upwards of 400 pounds.
Think of your body as a water recycling plant. Fluid is constantly being pumped through, removing wastes as it goes. Lymphedema is what happens when its waste drainage system shuts down. A blocked lymphatic system means waste fluids can't escape. The affected area will slowly fill, just like a blocked drain.
It's like a small town with a little sewage system that suddenly becomes a huge city. It's insufficient. It doesn't work anymore.
Most alarming of all, an attack of lymphedema can be triggered by just about anything. Obesity, surgery, puberty. Even a small bump or bite can start the lymphatic avalanche.
I thought I was going to die or something like that. Oh my gosh, you know, what's lymphedema? And he says, well, that's something that's treatable, but he says it's just something pretty serious.
If left untreated, Michael would have lost his leg. But he heard about the one place in the United States that specializes in extreme cases like his. It's in Olympia, Washington, and it was Michael's last hope. Michael's life was thrown into turmoil by a cruel condition that swelled his left leg to a mammoth 250 pounds. He'd contracted lymphedema, where the body's waste filtering system completely shuts down. The result? Waste fluid that can't escape, blowing limbs out of proportion. Anything from a minor bump to major surgery can cause the blockage that triggers lymphedema. For Michael, it was a simple spider bite. In Olympia, Washington, there's one clinic that specializes in treating the most extreme cases. But by the time he got there, Michael's left leg was the size of 2 small men. It was more than his therapist could cope with.
I heard her calling and she said, help, help, you know, and so I go into the room and his leg was pulling him off the bed. And, you know, how do you stop a 250-pound leg from falling off a bed? It was pulling his entire body off of the bed.
If left untreated, a limb with lymphedema will eventually die. And at worst, so will the patient.
As somebody gains weight, there's more and more tissue. More tissue makes more garbage.
Scar tissue upon scar tissue leaves limbs shockingly disfigured. Ultimately, elephantitis. So called because it leaves skin thick and tough like an elephant's hide. The only way to kickstart the lymph system is massage and compression bandaging.
We literally lay our hands on the skin and stretch the skin in a way that activates the lymphatic system to work more efficiently.
It's painstaking, but effective.
The purpose of this element of therapy is to take the fluid from the swollen area, swollen body part, and reintroduce it into the central blood circulation at the neck.
We use compression bandages to soften any fibrotic tissue, to move the fluid up toward the trunk, and to prevent the limb from refilling.
The results for Michael have been slow, but dramatic.
It's hard to believe that before I started my treatment, my leg was wider than this tree trunk. It's almost kind of hard to imagine.
Michael shed enormous amounts of the trapped fluid as urine.
It's pretty amazing that one of my best nights, I lost 5.5 liters of lymphatic fluid.
That's 1.5 gallons of fluid in a single night.
It was great. I mean, I basically, 136 pounds, I lost a small person.
For Michael, lymphedema is a life sentence. Once disturbed, the lymphatic system can erupt again at any time. A boyhood bike ride becomes every mother's nightmare.
I knew that he was dead. There was just no doubt in my mind.
They told me that Ricky had suffered an internal decapitation.
Phoenix, Arizona. 13-year-old Ricky Barker was out riding his bike the day before Easter. Ricky rode head-on into an oncoming car. With horrific head injuries, Ricky lay on the roadside, dying. But an extraordinary series of events was about to unfold. A paramedic team from the Phoenix Fire Department raced to the scene.
The information we were getting on our computer was saying that it was a pretty severe accident involving a young child.
When the team arrived, it was obvious Ricky had a broken leg. That wasn't the worst news. His lips and face looked blue, a disastrous sign. Paramedics knew he wasn't getting enough air.
Got numerous abrasions on his back, obvious deformity to the back of his neck, to the base of his skull. Okay?
And Danny told me at that time that he felt that Ricky had a very unstable neck. It just didn't feel right. So at that time, I told Danny, I said, hold his head, do not let go of his head. Easy, don't slide it, Danny. I got a good answer.
Paramedics had taken just 2 minutes to get to the scene of the accident. But after 2 minutes without oxygen, they had to get Ricky breathing, fast.
Let's get him tube and get an IV in him, and let's get going to the hospital. Danny went down to look for the vocal cords where we pass an airway tube and just could not see his anatomy. His anatomy was not in the right place.
The paramedics realized the horrible truth. Ricky's neck was broken.
He's a head or a neck. You know, this is not good.
The force of the impact had thrown Ricky's head to one side so forcefully, his skull had actually separated from his body. All the supporting muscles and ligaments were torn. His airway was so displaced, oxygen could no longer reach his lungs.
Come on, guys.
Ricky was near death. It would take a miracle for him to even survive long enough to reach the ER.
Okay, get the bag. Don't let go of his head, don't let go of his head. The thing that hit us all immediately, with most of us having our own young children, was that, you know, some parent is going to get the worst phone call of their life.
As Ricky was raced to the ER, the hospital called his mother.
When you first hear hit by a car, you don't immediately think that he got killed. But as soon as she started to say, "I'm so sorry," you know, I immediately, that's when I started to think that this was really bad.
Amanda called the police, desperate for more information. They told her to wait at home until a crisis unit arrived.
I lost it. I knew at that moment that my son had died.
We got a trauma patient. We need to get through to the Peds ICU. Head trauma, bike versus car.
At the hospital, Ricky was still clinging to life.
Let's get into the ICU unit. Clear the way here, please. Let's go down here.
But the staff at Good Samaritan Trauma Center knew he was on borrowed time.
It's very unusual, almost unprecedented in my experience, for somebody to survive an injury of that severity.
X-rays revealed the worst. Ricky's head was no longer attached to his body. It had separated from the top of the spine by about an inch.
His head could easily be lifted right up off, or forward or back, leaving no protection whatsoever to the very badly damaged spinal cord within. Well, this is a tough problem, and he has no corneal reflex, but he'll open his eyes to painful stimulation.
He told us about the injuries and said that, you know, one of two things could happen at this point. Either Ricky wouldn't make it through the next 12 hours, which were the critical hours, or he would, you know, if he could stable out in the 12 hours, they would go in and do surgery to reattach the skull to his spine.
The following 12 hours were the longest in Amanda's life.
When you're that close to it, I mean, it just, your whole world falls around you. You know, nothing makes sense. I think I got maybe an hour's worth of sleep that night, just up and down, checking on him, talking to him. Because I know, even when they say you're in a coma, you know, I'm totally believe that they can still hear you. You know, I just kept telling him that it's going to be okay. You know, it's just going to be okay. We'll take care of this. It's sort of like, you know, there's a glass there, and you're just looking in at this point. But when you're that close to it, I mean, it just, your whole world falls around you. You know, nothing makes sense.
Even though Ricky was on life support, his brain remained active.
If one touched him with a pin over the face and forehead, he could open his eyes.
Better still, there were signs that signals were getting from the spinal cord to Ricky's brain.
What do you think about?
Dr. Manwaring wanted to reattach Ricky's skull to his spine.
I'm wondering if you think potential for customized rods on the backside.
But it was a terrible dilemma. Move Ricky's spinal cord too much during surgery, and the damage would be irreversible. Delay surgery any longer, and the spinal cord would be crushed by swelling. But chances were Ricky would die unless something radical was done immediately. Dr. Manwaring was about to make the biggest call of his career, and Ricky Barker's life depended on him making the right choice. Humans do the most incredible things when they're asleep. In an average lifetime, 27 years will be spent unconscious. But while the body rests, the brain is often at its most bizarre. 70 million Americans suffer sleep disorders, but none is as incredible as this one. In Ontario, Canada, in 1992, a man left his house while asleep and drove to his in-laws' house without waking up. What followed was an astonishing tragedy.
We have example of someone who drove 25 miles and went to see some family members and actually kill one of the family members in that abnormal state of alertness.
A jury acquitted him of murder because he was sleepwalking and therefore unaware of his actions. In England, Paul has been having sex with his partner without knowing it.
When you're involved in a physical state with someone at that moment that you wake up, you really don't know what's going on or why it's going on or what's happening to you. There is a fear factor, and for a long time when I was being woken up there was panic attacks.
They have an abnormal state of consciousness. They are in between wake and sleep. Very few people remember what happened during their sleep.
In Australia, an even more extreme case of sleep sex. A woman would leave her house, seek out men and have sex with them before returning home to her bed. And she slept through every encounter. Her doctor reported the incredible case to the International Sleep Disorder Conference in Sydney. Sleep stalkers remember nothing of their activities. It often goes undiagnosed until it's too late.
The first patient that we saw had abnormal behavior of this type for 15 years, had injured his wife on a regular basis. Nobody mentioned it till he tried to strangle his wife, trying to have sexual intercourse in the same time.
Sufferers of cataplexy have the opposite problem. Too much excitement of any kind sends them to sleep.
Cataplexy is defined by losing your muscle tone and being floppy suddenly when you're getting excited or happy, most often when you're laughing.
This is why some people literally fall down laughing. Christina suffers from narcolepsy. She can fall instantly asleep at any moment.
1 minute standing there fine, and the next I'm on the floor. I mean, it just looks like I passed out or something.
300,000 Americans also have narcolepsy.
What we know of narcolepsy is that it's primarily a disorder where sleep is completely disorganized.
Much of what happens in the sleeping brain remains a mystery. But we do know our brains experience intense bursts of activity. Marked by telltale rapid eye movement, the brain is busiest while we dream. During so-called REM sleep, the body releases a chemical that paralyzes the muscles. This keeps the body at rest during the dream phase. If that chemical fails to trigger, a range of disorders can occur, from sleepwalking to sleep stalking, even sleep murder, because there's no conscious mind to separate fantasy from reality. For people whose brains do bizarre things while they slumber, sleep itself becomes a nightmare.
We got a trauma patient. We need to get through to the peds ICU. Head trauma, bike versus car.
13-year-old Ricky Barker had been hit by a car while riding his bike. The impact had severed his head from his neck.
Statistically, the patients that suffer the injury that Ricky suffered have less than a 0.01% chance of surviving the incident.
Ricky had an internal decapitation with no hope of recovery.
The doctor had to explain to me like 3 or 4 times exactly what the injury was, because I wasn't able to comprehend it at that point.
Well, this is a tough problem.
But doctors at Phoenix Children's Hospital were planning the impossible. They'd attempt to reattach Ricky's skull to his spinal cord. There were a million risks. If Ricky survived them all, he could still be paralyzed from the neck down, or brain damaged. It was a colossal gamble for neurosurgeon Kim Manwaring.
Going to surgery at 12 hours was taking a bet, a hope that he would show progressive improvement. One of the best predictors of long-term outcome is how is he at 24 hours. But I did not want to wait that long.
Ricky's mother, Amanda, now faced a new demon. If Ricky even survived surgery, she was told his best hope was quadriplegia, and he'd probably spend the rest of his life profoundly disabled.
At that point, I was really kind of hoping that he would pass. I could not imagine my 13-year-old having to live that way. Christopher Reeve kept running through my head. You know, that's who they kept comparing his injury with. And I just don't think I was strong enough to do it.
The night before Easter, Dr. Manwaring and his team began the marathon task of restoring Ricky's life. During surgery, Ricky's skull was carefully aligned with his spine.
Lined up such that we could then pull the head back down onto the spine and lock it into place with titanium plates and rods.
Doing it without worsening an already damaged nervous system was an incredible challenge. After 13 hours in surgery, Ricky's head was reattached. Now came the wait.
The surgery itself, in some ways, is a mechanical exercise to attach the cranium to the spine again to make him safe. But waiting on the underlying function, that was a complete unknown.
Miraculously, on the third day after the accident, a sign his mother had only dared pray for.
Well, Ricky started to kick his right leg around. Now, I thought I was seeing things, so I called the nurse in and started yelling into Ricky's ear, you know, move your leg, Ricky, and he did.
Okay.
This is video of Ricky in an early physical therapy session.
Come up for me. There you go. Come on, come on.
The boy doctors feared would be totally and permanently disabled was learning to talk, and he was sitting up. Everyone was astonished.
There, the head's perfect.
Early intervention by paramedics had preserved his spinal cord. And in a miracle of surgery, doctors had brilliantly reconstructed Ricky's neck.
The happiness that I was alive drove me to rehabilitate.
More amazing still, Ricky continued to gain movement in his body extremities.
I was paralyzed from here down. What had happened first was started to move my leg, then my arm, then this leg. This arm has not come back yet. Stand up. Come on, little buddy, stand up. That's it, you're not getting your dog treats.
Once I got that right leg and that right arm, Ricky, you know, when he started moving those, I knew at that point everything would be fine. You know, I wasn't worried anymore. It was going to be okay.
Okay, he was, but Ricky still faced a long haul. His life was saved, but would he ever walk again?
We had our off days and we had our on days. There were some days that Ricky didn't want to do anything. He was just tired and he didn't want to do it.
Now you're showing off.
But setbacks were temporary. Ricky exceeded everyone's expectations. Just months after suffering an horrific internal decapitation, he took his first steps.
I don't think he has any clue just how amazing he is in this recovery. You know, it's just another day for him. If it wasn't for those paramedics and what they did on site, Ricky never would have made it.
Ricky was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but everybody else in our system was in the right place at the right time. We had a 2-minute response time, which in that part of town, at that time of the day, that's unheard of.
Ricky taught me a lesson, and that is, we are just not smart enough to draw the line in cement and say, there is no potential here.
Me and him are always gonna have a connection. It's metal and it's in my head.
Ricky's recovery was amazing. He was back at school just 4 months after the accident.
He doesn't want to be the miracle boy, but he is.
All right, I need a volunteer. All right, Richard, come on up.
I fully expect Ricky will have a fulfilled, good, and long life.
Dr. Manwaring will always have a place in my heart. Stop it, you're gonna make me cry.